Let's make it do what it do. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the day that the Lord has made. We are rejoicing and we are glad in it. For those of you that are coming on, joining us live, I want to say welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. Please do me a quick favor, hit the like button, hit the share button. Please tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know that your boy, Ramon Preston, my squad, we are all live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta, and you, my friends, are watching the Ramon Preston Show. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we're going to be talking about 10 steps to a creative real estate deal. 10 steps to a creative real estate deal. This is part 3 to this 10-step discussion. The last 2 days, we talked about, in part 1, steps 1 and 2. Yesterday, part 2, steps 3 and 4. And today, we're going to talk about, we talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, yesterday. And now today, we're going to be talking about steps 5 and 6. I'm looking at my papers. I'm like, I know we didn't go over 5 and 6. Okay, so if you're coming on live, please do me a quick favor. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know that your boy, Ramon Preston, my squad, we are all live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. You're watching the Ramon Preston Show. Again, for those of you that are joining us live, please put in the comments what city you're watching us from. Let me know what city you're watching me from. I love to know where you're watching the Ramon Preston Show from. Again, this entire week, Monday through Friday, we're talking about the 10 steps to a creative real estate deal. So hopefully you already know what creative real estate investing is. Hopefully you already have an idea of some of the strategies we use in creative real estate investing, like owner finance or subject to. If you are familiar with those specific strategies, then these 10 steps are going to help you. Now, just for the purpose of giving you some context to what we've talked about so far, today I'm going to be talking about the 5th and the 6th step, okay? But just to give you some context, the 10 steps to a creative real estate deal. Number 1, you got to generate a lead. That's the first step. Number 2, you have to make initial contact. Number 3, you want to gather the facts. So once you contact and get an opportunity to speak to someone, if they're interested in the type of deal that you're doing or you're offering and proposing to them, you want to gather more facts. If it's a creative real estate deal like owner finance or subject to specifically, you have to gather certain information. You have to get their banking information. If they're in pre-foreclosure, that's other information you need because you want to know what's going on with this particular property and with that seller. Step 4, you want to underwrite and analyze the deal. So if I do number 1, step 1, if I generate a lead, and if I have a lead that I'm generating, getting information, I want to make contact with that lead. If this is the type of property I want to buy, and I know I want to buy that property creatively through a strategy like subject to or through a strategy like owner finance, once I generate the lead and make the contact, I need to reach out to that person, talk to them, and then when we're able to converse, I have to gather certain facts, get certain information. Once I get that information and put it with the information I already have, step 4 is I have to underwrite and analyze the deal. So even though I've done some preliminary underwriting before I even reached out to the lead, now that I've made contact and gathered facts, I need to underwrite it again because I got new information. And that brings us to step 5. Once you underwrite and analyze the deal and you've gone through the first 4 steps in what I'm sharing with you as a 10-step process, step 5 is you need to visit the property. And if you're doing real estate investing, especially creative real estate investing out of state, guess what? You are going to have somebody on the ground to go visit that property so that you can know exactly what's going on. Now, there are real estate investors that do exist who can purchase properties sight unseen. They don't have to see the property because they may assign the property, they may be wholesaling it. But if you are a real estate investor who's purchasing real estate, especially if it's distressed properties like pre-foreclosures, vacant properties, tired landlords, these are distressed types of properties. And if you are purchasing them creatively through strategies like subject to, then you definitely want to make sure you, someone you trust, or someone who knows what they're doing and what they need to look for, you want to make sure that someone like that goes and visits the property, okay? So visiting the property is the 5th step of my 10 steps to a creative real estate deal. Now remember, if I go visit this property or my team goes and visits the property, we have already gone through the first 4 steps. We already knew that this was the type of property we want to buy. We already have a little bit of information. We've contacted the person. They've agreed to the type of deal that we have presented to them. They have given us more information when we ask certain questions in fact finding. And now we underwrote the deal again to make it make more sense since we have new data and since we know this is a potential deal. So now when we go visit the property, we just need to check certain boxes. So visiting the property is a critical part of your preliminary physical due diligence. Remember that. When you are visiting the property, this is a part of your physical due diligence, or at least the preliminary part of your physical due diligence. Why am I saying preliminary? I'll put here prelims. Why is this a preliminary physical due diligence? Because you want an inspector to go and look at that property. You may want your contractor to go and look at that property. In most cases, you're going to visit the property because step 6 is going to be important. That's why we're talking about step 6 today too. So when you visit the property, you're going to have a contract with you. You're going to have whatever type of release forms you need the seller to sign. But you also want to just get an idea of what the property looks like. First of all, you want to make sure that the house is still there, because you could go there and the house could be gone, or half the house is gone when you go inside. You know, the walls are taken out. It's, you know, stripped down to the studs, all the appliances, and you know, the fixtures could be gone. You just want to do like a preliminary physical walkthrough in your due diligence. And so that's going to be very, very important. So you have to be clear that visiting the property, it is a critical part of your preliminary physical due diligence that must be handled professionally, it must be handled proficiently, and it must be handled productively. So what that means is, if you're going, if you have a team member or a couple people going, there are certain things that you want to make sure you check the boxes on. So I want to give you a quick list of some of the things you should always have and do when you visit a property that you know you're going to purchase. And this is step 5 in my 10-step process. You should always have a good rapport and a pre-existing relationship with someone if you're visiting their property alone. Okay? Don't go to somebody's property alone if you ain't got no rapport with them or pre-existing relationship with them, unless you packing and you just feel like you got it like that. But otherwise, you should always have someone accompany you. All right? Number 2, you should always have an authorization to release form prepared. So again, if you're doing creative real estate investing and you're going to a property to visit it because you've already talked to the seller, you've already explained everything that you do to them, they have agreed and they want to do a deal with you. When you get there physically, you want to have an authorization to release form, because that's one of the forms you're definitely going to need. You should also have a purchase and sales agreement prepared. So you should already have an idea of what numbers you're working with, what commitment you're making to them, or what agreement you can make with them, so that you can get those 2 pieces of documentation signed and filled out. Okay, you should always have a camera or a phone to take pictures and record videos for your records and for your contractor. Okay, so if I go to a property or if my team goes to a property, they're going to take those 2 pieces of documentation. They're going to take an authorization to release. They're going to take a purchase and sales agreement. They know we've already gone over the numbers. The seller is already clear on what they should expect from us. We know what we expect from them. And if my team goes, they're going to have a camera, they're going to have a phone, they're going to do a video all around the house, the neighborhood, they're going to take pictures, they're looking for certain flaws. We do have a checklist, a physical checklist that we have inside of our PDF vault on Ramon Preston University. So if you need a copy of that, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You should always have a physical or digital property checklist to highlight the areas that need to be repaired. You need to have a checklist. Even though your inspector and your contractor, they're going to go and look at things differently, but it just helps for you to make sense, because my team and I both, we have walked, we have made we have agreed over the phone. We have talked to sellers over the phone, communicated, gathered facts. They've emailed us bank statements and documents and all the stuff to show us what's going on with the deal. They've said to us, oh, all it needs is carpet and a little bit of paint. We've heard it all. And then by the time we get to the property, we like, wait a minute, right? And just going there, we already see, yeah, this ain't no deal. Like, we're not doing this. And that plays a very, very important role, okay? You should always have a flashlight or a pair of gloves and maybe a mask to see clearly and to safeguard from smells or germs. Because again, if you're buying distressed properties, creatively or not, whether it's foreclosures, vacant properties, homes that have been worn down, whatever, you don't know what you're going into. So you want to be prepared. You should always request the login and password information to the online portal of their mortgage account, or you help them create one. That's when you're doing deals like subject to. You want to get access to the online account. Of course, you want to get a copy of any paper statements or legal correspondence that they have regarding the property, because foreclosure trustees are going to mail them stuff certified. They might have a whole pack of envelopes sitting on their kitchen table or countertop. So if it's a creative deal, you definitely need that type of documentation. You should always inform them or remind them to allow your company or your attorney or closing or title company or your transaction coordinator, whoever it is, remind them and inform them that you, your team, your attorney, your TC, they're going to handle everything from that point forward. And if they have any questions, to reach out to that specific person. If the property is empty, there are cases that the property is empty, you may be able to place a lockbox in a secure area outside so that you could give the inspector and a contractor access to the property so that you ain't got to keep going back and forth out there if the property is empty. And so again, step 5 in this 10-step process for doing a creative real estate deal is visit the property. And this is just a preliminary part of your physical due diligence, because you still want to have an inspector come out there and do an inspection. You still want your contractor to come out there and look at the property and give you some estimate on what the costs are associated to the property. So for our company, RP Capital Home Solutions, we try our best to make sure that whenever we're acquiring a property, whether it's a fix and flip, definitely if it's a fix and flip, but even if it's a buy and hold, we have certain things that we want to do that's just a part of our signature brand, right? So that means there's a certain color scheme we might want to repaint the house in. There's certain floorings that we want to have. If the cabinets don't have hardware, there's certain hardware we want to put inside the kitchen and the bathroom. If the lighting is not the way we want it, we're going to change. Like, there are certain things that we're going to do no matter what, all right? Unless it's just too nice for us to change it. But for the most part, we're going to make sure we make that upgrade. So that's going to automatically be costs that we have to pay our contractor. Okay. Step six, and I'm making this a step for all you creative people, because sometimes you don't do the most important part, sign the documents. Now, I'm not an attorney, I ain't no legal expert, but what I will say is, if you have a purchase and sales agreement and you have an authorization to release form and any other disclosures or addendums that you have, if you're doing like creative deals like subject to, hopefully you got it from an attorney. Hopefully it's been vetted by that attorney in the area that you do business with, so that you know everything you need in those documents is there to protect the seller and to protect you. But one of the things that you should have inside of your purchase and sales agreement is the ability to assign that contract. Even if you're not intending to wholesale it, maybe you're intending to buy it and hold it or fix it and flip it, but that's always a box you want to check, and you want to make sure that seller is clear. Okay. And again, I'm not an attorney, and I'm not a wholesaler. I'm an investor, but what I do know, my attorney, the few that I've worked with and talked with, told me straight up, like, just check the box even if you're not going to assign it. So at least if for some reason something comes up and you may have to, you check that box. You don't have to go back and redo it, and explain to them what that means on that contract. So we have the ability to assign it, and we may assign it if for some reason it's best for someone else to purchase it, or whatever the case is. But you want to sign the documents. And again, if it's a creative real estate deal like subject to, you're definitely going to have two main documents that you're going to bring for that seller to sign. There's going to be an authorization to release form, and it's going to be a purchase and sales agreement. Okay, so it's extremely important. And by the way, if you see me looking down reading, I have a workshop that I do. We just did one a couple weeks ago. It's a creative real estate investing workshop. It's a one-day deep dive we do into all things creative. We talk about the different ways you can do creative, the difference between creative and conventional, or traditional, non-traditional. We have documents, forms. We have an entire online course teaching all the ins and outs of pre-foreclosures and how to get into this business with no credit, no credentials, little to none of your own cash. And we also have a mentorship program. I don't have it behind me, but we also have a mentorship program that we have weekly coaching calls. We have regular meetups. So we just started last week a new trend over here in the world of our Millionaire Mentorship program. And that new trend is every 2 Saturdays, every 2 weeks, we meet up in person here for now at my headquarters on Saturdays for about 4 hours. And we underwrite deals, we pull lists for properties that fit our buy box or our investment criteria. We role play with scripts, we make calls and contacts, and we try to do deals. That's what we're doing. So if you're interested in being inside of our community, don't hesitate to reach out to us. But again, it's extremely important to clearly explain when you're getting people to sign the initial documents. It's important to clearly explain and completely fill out each document to prevent any delays with your transaction coordinator or with your attorney. You want people to be clear on what you're doing. So my team, they typically talk to people before I talk to people. And they're going to go over everything with them 2, 3, 4, 5 different times. They're going to ask them the same question 3 different ways, make sure that they have clarity. By the time I talk with them, I'm going to go over it 2 or 3 times. By the time we schedule an appointment to go visit the property, we're going to go over it with them again 2, 3 different times. And then what we do is we make sure whoever is assigned to that seller, that they work with them all the way through the process until we get to closing. very similar to what a transaction coordinator would do, but we do that in-house, okay? So we do have someone who plays the role of a transaction coordinator, but we also have someone that plays the role of a seller coordinator. They just coordinate the process that the seller has to go through, meaning that it may not be the legal side in terms of the contracts. It may just be to help them relocate, to help them get movers. They may need assistance with getting a new place, whatever the things are. We try to help people, especially when it's a distress situation. So you have to over communicate. And again, those are the two main documents that you need. So if you're watching today's show, we're talking all week about the 10 steps to a creative real estate deal. All right. And so today we're on steps 5 and 6. Step 5 was to visit the property. This is just a part of your preliminary due diligence. And step 6 is to make sure that you sign the initial documents so that you can submit those documents to your title company or to your attorney or whoever you work with or your transaction coordinator, and you could get the ball rolling to start preparing for closing. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Maybe you have some feedback about what we're sharing with you regarding creative real estate investing. This is something for the past couple months, at least for the past maybe 2 or 3 months, I've been talking more about publicly because, number one, I believe this is an assignment God has given to me in this season. That's one of the reasons why I opened up our mentorship program, and I added to our mentorship program for free all of the creative real estate investing training. So we are adding a free service of coaching and mentorship for creative real estate investing inside of our Millionaire Mentorship Program. And if you are interested in joining our community, being a part of our program, join us for our weekly calls, our quarterly workshops, our regular meetups that we're doing for real estate, and you want access to all of our courses, our content for creative real estate investing, all of our documents and forms. We even have all the forms that we get from our attorney we put inside of there, especially if you're in Georgia. You can actually use our attorney if you want to. And we want to help you and make it work. And guess what? We want to do deals with you. We want to do business with you. I think this is going to be one of the, well, I've already proven it, so I can't even say I think. I've already proven that real estate has given me and my wife and our company an opportunity to do business with other people, entrepreneurs and individuals that under any other circumstance, we wouldn't have been able to do business with them because they got a different type of business, or we're in two different worlds when it comes to entrepreneurship. But real estate has become that medium to merge us together because we all want to be a part of it. And we all can pretty much predict and dictate the outcome when you know what you're doing. So we would love to help you. We would love to hear from you. All you have to do is call or text the word mentor to the number you see, even if you just have questions. Maybe you have questions about a deal. Maybe you have questions about creative real estate investing. Maybe you've heard about strategies like subject to or owner finance or something of that nature, and you just need more clarity on. Or maybe you're already in real estate, but you don't have the other aspects of your business situated. Like you might not have a holding company, or you don't have the right business structure. Maybe you don't have the systems and processes. Maybe you don't know how to track all your activities. We teach all that inside of our Millionaire Mentorship Program. We have courses on it, workshops on it, weekly calls on it, regular support. And we have a community of people that you are able to connect with. So we want to hear from you. Call or text the word mentor to 678-276-8253 or 8556. And don't forget, leave a comment. Give us some feedback. Let us know how this channel and how this information is helping you and bringing value to you. Subscribe to my YouTube page. And we will be back tomorrow, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, live right here from the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta in our headquarters, and we will be sharing with you steps 7 and 8 of the 10 steps to a creative real estate deal. Until tomorrow, have an amazing winning Wednesday, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.